It's a Brock party, and it's another win on the road for this Lions team. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? Matt Dery with you. It is the Postcast right here, Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network. On this, a Sunday, December 18th into Monday, December 19th. The Lions have done it again. They have now won 6 of 7. They go into New York facing a 7-6 Jets team, going for the playoffs in the AFC, playing pretty good football, and the Lions somehow find a way. Jared Goff to Brock Wright with a $140 to go to win the game. 20-17 coming from behind to get the win. Now, the Lions led for most of the game today, made plenty of mistakes, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the Detroit Lions, heading into Week 16 next week with 3 games to go, are at 500 at 7-7 and have a really good chance to make the playoffs. Can you believe this? How amazing is this run right now? They started 1-6. Since then, they're 6-1. At 1-6, I was ready to pack the tent here and be done with this podcast. I was fed up. But Dan Campbell and his team keep fighting. They keep finding ways to win. We thank you for making us your first listen right here on Locked On Lions. Find us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions on Twitter, the Matt Dery Facebook fan page, and also on YouTube. There we are, the Locked On Lions YouTube channel. On assignment away this weekend, but got to watch the game today. And what a performance from this football team. Gritty, tough. They made so many mistakes. The offense was pretty brutal all day. The passing game wasn't there. Ben Johnson, at times, mistakes made in play calling. 4th and 1, running it 4 times at the goal line. Countless second and long running plays. Jets didn't have Quinnen Williams today, and the Lions had trouble running the football. Jets didn't have Mike White today. It was Zach Arm Punt Wilson, and yet the Lions allowed big plays in the secondary. But they found a way to win. Folks, they're in this thing. We're going to have meaningful games down the stretch. They've won 3 straight December games for the first time since 2014. That stat courtesy of the GOAT, Andrew Siciliano from DirecTV Red Zone. And, we're going to get you game balls and go over everything in a minute, but I'm astounded because for so many years, whether it's been me doing this podcast for 7 years, whether it's you watching or listening, that have been through the rigors with this Lions team, you just knew, right? You just had that feeling. When Zach Wilson rolled right on 4th and 18 and heaved the ball down the field, in the air, and it was somehow caught, you just went, oh my gosh, I've seen this movie before. Zuerlein's going to come in and kick the field goal, and we're going to go to overtime and lose. That's the feeling that you have as a Lions fan. But for some odd reason right now, things are changing. Zuerlein missed the field goal. Robert Saleh, who many of you wanted to be the Lions coach, he's from Detroit, totally botched his timeout management and clock management at the end of that game. Didn't use his timeouts, hence 1 second was left and they were forced to kick a 58-yarder. He went into the end of the game. He went into the locker room after the game with 2 timeouts in his back pocket. Did not even use his timeouts until the very end of that last play. What if he did use them? Jets would have had an opportunity for a couple more plays and a shorter field goal. Those are mistakes the Lions make, at least the old Lions. This new crop of Lions, this regime with Dan Campbell and this coaching staff, something's clicking right now. They are playing hard. They are playing physical. Today was a slobber knocker in New Jersey. Jets are physical. I tried to tell you guys all week. New York's very physical. This is going to be a close game. I kind of predicted 21-20 Jets on the crossover on Thursday. I told you, on Friday's show, I like the Lions because Mike White was out. And then we find out this morning Quinnen Williams wasn't playing. That was a huge break for the Lions, that Jared Goff could have time to throw today and not have to deal with a guy with 11 sacks who's arguably the best defensive lineman, interior lineman in football. And the Lions did not allow a sack today. Again, Jared Goff was clean. Now, Goff didn't have his best game. He missed some throws. The Jets took a lot of things away. They were loading the box. They were daring Goff to throw the ball deep. He couldn't do it. And the Lions settled for field goals. Remember, after the Jerry Jacobs interception, they had to kick a field goal. And on the 4th and 1 call at the start of their 4th and goal call at the start of the game, the Lions ran a delay to Jamal Williams and got stuffed. There were points left out there today. But all that matters is win or lose. And for the 6th time in the last 7 weeks, this team's winning. Again. And now, Carolina next week on Saturday. The Bears at home, who lost again this week. And then Green Bay, who knows what they're going to be like for Week 18. The Lions are in the driver's seat to make the playoffs. Because the Commanders and Giants are going to beat up on each other tonight for Sunday Night Football. One of those teams is going to drop to 7-6-1, and the Lions will only be a half game back in the race for the playoffs. And those two teams are not playing well as of right now, and the Lions are on a roll. If I would have told you at the start of the year that the Lions were going to go into New York and win both games in that stadium against the Giants and the Jets, especially at the start of the year if we had that discussion, because those two teams were coming on, you would have thought I was crazy. We sat here for 2 years and went, when is Dan Campbell going to get a road win? When is this team going to win on the road? And they've been winning on the road. They've been winning at home. They've been winning anywhere. They found a way today, despite mistakes, despite Okudah playing his worst game of the year, despite Kirby Joseph blowing that coverage on the Uzama touchdown. I mean, countless plays we saw today where you scratch your head and went, what are we doing? What are they doing? But yet, drive, end of the game, down 17-13, managed the clock pretty well, got to a 4th and 1, and then the play call of all play calls. Everybody was thinking run, I was thinking quarterback sneak. Nope. Play action pass, looks right to St. Brown, and here comes Brock Wright across right to left, wide open, and rumbles in. His one catch of the day. Brock Wright, one catch today for 51 yards. It just so happened to go for a touchdown. Brilliant play call. Good blocking down the field. And the Lions win 20-17. It's our Postcast. Matt Dery with you. Twitter, Facebook. Appreciate all of you guys watching, listening. Unbelievable performance today. Not the greatest performance, not a masterpiece, but two physical teams, and in the end, the Lions got enough of a stop at the end to win the game as Zerline missed from 58 yards out. Just incredible. When we come back, we'll hand out some game balls. I want to talk more about the defense a little bit, which has really stepped up. Locked On Lions is sponsored by BetterHelp Therapy Online. Listen, bottom line is things can get tough, all right? It's the holiday season. You're doing some reminiscing about your life. You're thinking about your family, whatever it is. Life doesn't come with a user manual. We know that. So when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck and want to get help. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills. And the therapists at BetterHelp are fantastic. Whether or not you've been in therapy personally, which I have, you got to give this a try. You got to think about it a little bit. Everyone deserves to feel their best, and BetterHelp makes it easier to get started. All the benefits of in-person therapy, plus it's more convenient, more accessible, and more affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist, and if things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime, and it couldn't be simpler, and it's all done online. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOn. I'm going to put up the little overlay here, give you more about BetterHelp and our friends at BetterHelp Online, because they are fantastic. All right, we also got to tell you about our friends at LinkedIn Jobs. That's right. Every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why you got to go to LinkedIn Jobs and post your job there. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available, and they're there for you at LinkedIn Jobs. All right. It's very, very simple. Create a free job post on LinkedIn Jobs, add your job in the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Lions do it again, folks. 20-17. They knock off the New York Jets. All eyes will be tonight on the Commanders and Giants to see what happens there. Those are the last two wild card teams tied 7-5-1. Seahawks at 7-7. They keep losing, including the other night. So the Lions are in the driver's seat to get on these playoff spots. They can beat Carolina next week at Carolina. They can beat the Bears in a Hull of Fields on New Year's Day at Ford Field. Boy, Ford Field on New Year's Day is going to be up for grabs. My gosh, that place is going to be nuts. And then Week 18 against the Packers at Lambeau. Who knows if Green Bay is going to have Aaron Rodgers playing, Jordan Love. Who knows? But the Lions are playing really well. And today, and I know Mike White wasn't there, and I know the Jets don't have this most prolific offense. They're known for their defense. But I thought the Lions defense and future head coach Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator, really, really did a nice job today. Zach Wilson threw for 300 yards and had a pass rating of 89.8. I think there were some mistakes made by the Lions defense today, especially on the back end in the secondary and some blown coverages. But all in all, the Lions defense held the Jets to 50 yards on the ground. Garrett Wilson was held below 100 yards receiving. I know it was 4 for 98, so it's basically 100, but still. And when the Lions needed to get stops, they got them. They held the Jets to 17 points. It's not like I said, a dynamic offense by any stretch of the imagination. But the Lions were physical today. They were on top of Zach Wilson. They made some plays. They had 4 sacks today. And I just like what I'm seeing from this Lions football team. And I think you got to give Aaron Glenn some credit. We were all over him at the start of the year. The Aubrey Pleasant firing as the secondary coach, something has changed. Guys are playing better. The defense seems to be clicking. And when you can go on the road and hold the opponent to 17 points in this day and age of the NFL, that is pretty darn good. And little things the Lions did today. Khalif Raymond with a punt return, but it was because the Lions played good defense. They punted the football, they pinned the Jets back deep, then they made stops and tackles, forcing the Jets to have to punt from deep in their end zone. And then Khalif Raymond took that punt back. Little things like field position, not turning the ball over again for the Lions today. Those are things that are winning for this football team right now. It's stunning. No one saw this coming. They're back to 500. I had this team at 7-10. I said they were going to win 7 games this year. They were going to make an upward trajectory. And now they're the talk of the league. You know, I mentioned Andrew Siciliano and DirecTV Red Zone channel. I mean, that was the featured game today. If you were watching from out of town and you had the Red Zone channel on, you pretty much saw the whole game, most of the game today. And by the way, Andrew's terrific on that show. And I hope that he stays on it and somehow DirecTV keeps it. I know their contract is up. But that was awesome today. All right, some game balls to be handed out. Dan Campbell said after the game today that Khalif Raymond is getting a game ball. And not just because he had the punt return, today in the first quarter that went for 47 yards and a touchdown. But he also caught 5 passes for 53 yards. Khalif Raymond has been Mr. Reliable for this team this year. All he does is make big third down conversions. The punt return was huge. And he's a veteran that they brought in. That was a former Jet, former Titan that has done a really nice job. So he gets a game ball today, putting the Lions on the board with that punt return. Another game ball today has to go to Romeo Okwara. How about number 95, back with the team, second game back. Really didn't see much from him last week, but 2 sacks today. Couple of pictures. You know, Romeo takes the pictures after the sacks. He was all up in the grill in the face of Zach Wilson all day today. So love what I saw from Romeo Okwara, and he absolutely gets a game ball for his performance today. I thought Aiden Hutchinson was extremely disruptive. 5 tackles, 4 solo, a tackle for the loss. On both Okwara sacks, he was in there as well. This is why you took this guy number 2 overall. And we touched on it this week about Hutchinson versus Sauce Gardner and who would have the better game. Gardner didn't have a single pass defended today. Hutchinson had a better game than Sauce Gardner. So, and he gets a game ball from me as well, along with Romeo Okwara on the defense. I think that's really it in terms of handing out game balls. I like the way Amon-Ra St. Brown played today. Again, always reliable, 7 catches, 76 yards. Brock Wright, I would give a game ball to for that play. The Brock party, biggest play maybe of the season for the Lions. On a 4th and 1 with a game on the line. 51 yards for the touchdown. He held his block. He was patient. Then he snuck out. Made the play, and then rumbled down the sidelines. What a play call by Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson did not have the greatest overall game today. And I thought at times the game plan was head-scratching what the Lions were doing, especially with some of their run plays. But all in all, when it came down to it, that last drive, there were some very creative plays. The screen to Swift, the throw to St. Brown, and then, of course, the 4th and 1 call to Brock Wright. Lions are looking good, folks. This is fun. Whoops, just knocked the microphone over. 20-17, Lions over the Jets. We'll get you the PFF numbers tomorrow. We'll break this one down even more. Goff today, passer rating 88.9. The 1 touchdown, threw for 252. Wasn't great, but delivered at the end. 17-13, Jets kick off. Here come the Lions with about 4 minutes to go. There was no panic. And Goff delivered and took them down the field to win the football game on the road against a team over 500. That's all you can ask for right now. So, big time win for the Lions away from home. Next up, Carolina on the road next Saturday. We'll be back with you again tomorrow for another edition of Locked On Lions. This has been the Postcast edition right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.